The Corner Comic Book Store. A cool place to read creative stories and get creative yourself. That's exactly what happens here at South Philly Comics.
Hi, I'm John Foster, co-owner of South Philly Comics. I've been here for about almost 4 years now. Yeah, we got some pretty interesting folks who come in here. People like to read, so people from all walks of life. And we got some dude, Adam May comes in. He makes his own funny books, and he comes in and buys others, so that's pretty neat.
Yes, my name is Adam J. May. I am the owner of 3 hair salons in Philadelphia called American Mortals. Right now, I would say my main creative outlets are writing a comic book. Yeah, the comic book I'm writing right now is it's called Poor Boundaries. It's about a therapist and a 13-year-old client of hers. A 13-year-old client is involved in a pretty violent incident at her house between her and her mother's boyfriend. And as a result of the incident, the mother actually dies and the boyfriend gets shot. The comic is then about the therapist helping the young girl hide from the boyfriend who is out to get her. I was inspired for the story of my comic by my wife. My wife is a therapist and she works with predominantly teens. Honestly, when I met my wife and started raising our son together and started introducing him to these characters, I kind of had a rejuvenated interest in the world of comics and became a pretty avid collector of comic books. I'm a big fan of Deadpool, Batman. I always had an affinity for The Thing, Wolverine, Gambit. I've found myself drawn to the, more of the anti-heroes. What really resonates with me about comic books and the characters in general is kind of the ability to look at the day-to-day life through a larger-than-life character.
Hi, I'm Tony Glassman, also the co-owner of South Philly Comics, where we enjoy putting good reading material, like The Fade Out, into the hands of deserving people. John and I have owned the store for about a little under 4 years now, and we've been really gratified at how much people seem to enjoy having a comic shop in the neighborhood. I think having really good, interesting material by just top-notch writers and artists can really spur creativity as well.
Hi, how you guys doing today? My name is Paco. I'm related to Sai. He's my brother. And we grew up in Seoul together. We was poor. And he always had this inspirations being famous and sing one day, and I always support his dreams of being big, and he always support me as a younger to try to be a comedian. Probably the most inspiring writer for comic books that inspired my comics is Frank Miller. He wrote The Dark Knight Return, which is more edgier, dark story of Batman, and it allows me to, dig deeper into the darker side of comics and make jokes about, my own, culture, my own self. It allows me to express myself better.
My name is Johnny Smith. I'm an actor. Comic books have inspired me to become an actor because ever since I was a little kid, I used to read them out loud. So I would always imagine myself as the characters, and I would be able to imagine these kind of colorful worlds that they were in, and imagine what it would like to be inside those colorful worlds, which always helps on stage with my imagination whenever I'm trying to imagine the world around me and it's not really actually there. That suspension of disbelief that comes with comic books always helps with that. Favorite character is Spider-Man. Favorite series of all time is probably Uncanny X-Men. Well, Spider-Man was my favorite character because I always related to him as, a big nerd that got kind of picked on when he was younger, but then he kind of like grew into himself later on. But Spider-Man's so relatable because, he has all these real world problems. Nothing ever goes right for him. So if you're having a bad day, you can sit down and read a Spider-Man comic and you can relate to it. The X-Men I relate to because they're also just a group of outcasts that don't really fit in. And so I always kind of identified with them when I was going through like my awkward teen development years. I think the individuals that work there are pretty creative. I think, Tony has an interesting imagination. He's got a good sense of humor. Just the other day I was in there and John was working on his article for Overstreet. So, I think they're both very creative people as well.
And there you have it. Creativity thriving at your local comic book store. So from all the people at South Philly Comics to you, good night and have a great rest of your life.